let's get moving forward. Okay, so welcome to Ancestor Focus Workshop. If you're new here, my name is Sissy. I am the vulva of the LHC. I am the shit show coordinator, the chaos witch of the group, and I am happy to greet you here on what is now the dropped veil of Samhain. I know people are telling you the veil is going down. The veil is gone. There is no more veil. It is gone. We are out. We are exposed. We are out in it. You are in the mix right now. Like the line from The Sorcerer's Apprentice. I don't know what you're doing, but you're participating because you're fucking participating now. There's no choice. If you're stepping up, you're stepping in. That is where we're at. So if you are somebody who is not ready to go all the way, you're just one of those girls that's just the tip. This is probably where you step out. This is not just the tip land anymore. You are full in. This is a full deep exposure to the veil, to a conditioned experience you have never felt before. I know people say this at every salon. Oh, it's going to be different. It's going to be different. I can assure you it is going to be fucking different. You are not the same witch you were a year ago. If you are, that sucks. But at this point, you have to dig deep, look for who you are, and move forward. So let's start with the concept of ancestry. So every time I do ancestry, I hear, I don't know who my ancestors are. I was adopted. I don't know. I don't like my ancestors. Okay. So let's pin this down. We all come from somewhere and we all have power, correct? You are a sanctioned, sacred, sovereign being. 3 S's. Okay. And in this energy, there is a place you came from. Everyone's got a mama. Whether she's worth something or not, everyone's got a mama. Okay. Whether you know your mama or you don't know your mama, you had a mama. All right. How do you touch your ancestry? Number one, you're lucky and you have a family tree. Those are the luckiest of us. We have family trees that we can follow and trace. Then comes the people that have like I like to call it where I'm from, the shady family tree. Like you got a couple ideas, you got some people in there that you're not so sure why they're there, but that is your roundabout idea of where you come from. And then they have the luckiest of us, my favorite of us, the people who get to choose their origin story. It's like you're the ultimate superhero. You get to choose your origin story. Like how Spider-Man got bit by that radioactive spider, Batman had the experience in the cave, Wonder Woman came from the Amazonians. Where do you feel you came from? Where do you resonate with? Where do you come from? Where do you want to originate from? There are places in this world you will go and you will feel like you belong there. It's very possible that's your ancestry. You read information, you do deity work, and you feel more at home in that place. Could be your origin story. So, ancestry is number one, you know it, or number two, you choose it. And I know everybody out there in the witch world is going to look at me and go, you can't do that. You can do whatever the fuck you want to do because you're a grown up. Okay. So don't let people go around telling you how to do your magic. You have to do 2 things in magic: protect yourself and work responsibly. Other than that, this is your ball game. I'm sick of hearing you can do this, you can do that. She's not qualified to do this. She's not qualified to teach that. Shut your fucking mouth and do your fucking magic. Nobody asked your fucking opinion. And if you're going around waiting for people to tell you what the fuck to do with your magic, you're going to be really frustrated because everybody has a fucking opinion, whether you want it or not. And we say here in Pennsylvania Dutch, for stay, that means do you understand? So for stay. Ancestry is your decision, your family tree, those kind of things. So in the end of this PDF, I did this all the way at the end for a reason, because I want to talk about this premise first. So for those of you that have family trees, I want you to do what's called ancestor mapping. Okay. No, this isn't a legitimate term you can find anywhere else. This came right out my ass. Okay. You ready? I'm just going to show you how I do this. Map those ancestors, map those magical men and women in your life, the things you remember, the things you recall, the wives' tales, the home remedies, all those things. Write your legacy, write where you came from, write what you know. How do you write anything? You start with what you know. And when you focus in on the things that you know, getting to where you want to be is easier because you already know those tales. You already know those things. So let's start in that area. What do you know that grandma did for this? What do you know was something you guys did at this time? What was your holiday tradition here? Map those things out. If you want to have an ancestor practice, you're going to have to do some work. This isn't just a white candle, some water, and you work. If you want to have a true ancestor connection that feeds you through veils and magical workings and blood magic, you need to work at it. Now, calling in your ancestry, once you've mapped, only call in those that are working for your greater good. Okay? Be very specific when you're setting your altars. I know some of you are like, oh, I had this person in my family, they sucked. And believe me, I got a whole list of fucking people in my family that I would rather not see living nor dead. Okay? You don't have to call those people. You can choose who you originate with. How do you do this? Only call in the ancestors that are working for my greater good. Now, what witches sometimes run into, and I know I do, is I have a real in-depth Christian side of my tree. So what I do doesn't exactly align with what they do. Okay. So when you come into that, you need to understand that not all your ancestors are going to support what you did or what you're doing. First day, you need to think about these things. Who are you calling in? What are you working with? That leads you, do you want to call in an energy of the land, an energy of the people, an energy of the practice rather than specific individuals? These are the things you need to think about. When you say ancestry, people just go, oh, I'm going to call my great grandma. It's all going to be well. Well, if you are a practicing Norse witch and the person in question was a Catholic basic saint, do you think you two are going to agree on these things? The support you're calling in isn't going to be the support you're looking for. Okay. Are you going to see support? Yes. But you're going to see corrective support of your behavior. Hey, yo, we don't do that. That's not right. Let's not do that. Okay. So when you think about these things, call in people who are working for your greater good. What was your family good at? What was your family known for? Usually, people within a village or a community had a job that aligned with their spiritual and soul purpose. If you think about it, how many wise women were healers, were gardeners, were midwives? Because what they believed and what they practiced supported who they were. Just like a lot of cobblers used protection magic. A lot of millsmiths used abundance magic. These are things that you have to connect. What what is the trade of your family? What is the ancestry of your family? Women who sew. All the women in your family sew. Are you doing fabric magic? Are you doing knot magic? Are you doing sewing magic? Are you putting sigils in your clothing? Are you putting sigils in your children's and grandchildren's clothing? If this is what the women did before you, that is your ancestor legacy. What are you using here? So really think about this in the mapping. Take some time. And I want you to focus on the females in your line, most of you. Now, those of you that practice mountain magic, those of you that practice hoodoo, those of you that practice a little bit of mixed up church and magic, you're going to want to focus both on the men and women in your family. Because a little known fact in Pennsylvania Dutch magic is a man is supposed to teach you your craft if you're a woman, and a woman is supposed to teach it to you if you're a male. That's how it got passed down. It wasn't necessarily grandma to granddaughter. It was grandfather to granddaughter, grandmother to grandson. There are certain things in every magical practice that are just a little different. And you need to learn those things. So if you're sitting back waiting for things to roll to you, you're going to have to dig a little deeper to find them. So I know once again we meet and I tell you this horrible thing. You're going to have to work. I'm sorry. But work is part of what we do. So now that you're a great big ancestor mapper, you're doing your own 23andMe search of yourself and you're digging through the family archives and the pictures and all those things. What do we do with this information? So there's three different types of ancestor workings. And I tried to make this very simple. There's a lot more than three, but I broke them down to three. Okay. Altars, dining rituals, and sacred circles. Okay. So altars are done in your practice. What do you need for them? The PDF's going to give it to you. Okay. I made this really simple. I oversimplified this on purpose. What do you need? You mean mementos, pictures, items that call to the person, place, or thing that you are pulling in as your ancestry, correct? So you need junk. Do you all have some junk? Do you all have some shit laying around that you could build an altar with? I bet you fucking do. And I bet you if you don't, you know where to go get some fucking junk, right? Right? Cool. So how do you build it? Elements, momentums, sacred cloth, white candles. How hard's that? That's what you need. Ancestor workings only require white candles. I know you all have white candles. When do the colored candles come in? Well, the colored candles come in when you ask them to help you with spell work. That's when the colored candles come in. If you are just establishing connection, maintaining a space, and opening to them, white candles is a great place to start. I notice I start adding yellow, and then comes red, and then comes a little bit of blue because you always have to heal from the bullshit from everybody coming from the past. And then finally the green. Then you ask them to build with you. Then you ask them to get on your team and build with you. A good ancestor practice is like a good team building exercise. First, we establish connection. So if you've ever been to a retreat, the first thing we do is get to know everybody. Everybody sits around and bullshits in a circle and we get to know everybody. Okay. That's connection. Number two is we set the stage. That means I put a little food in everybody, get you all set, and then we build an altar. The altar is the working space. So you start by getting to know them, creating a space, then you're going to create trust. So you're going to share parts of you with them and them with you. You're going to commune with them. You're going to spend time with them. You're going to celebrate them. You're going to tell them about yourself. You're hoping they will tell you about themselves. Isn't that the goal here? We want to get to know them. We want to get to work with them. And then finally, hey, yo, we're really good friends. Can you get on my team? Would you come work with me? Can we do this more often? Like, can we have lunch every Tuesday? Can we spend time together every full moon? Can you help me with this? Can you help me with that? And you will find the more you put into that working space, the more you're going to get back from that working. This works in every magical working, by the way. It's a great process for ancestors. It's a great process for deity work. It's a great process for intention work. And it's a fantastic process for running circles and creative spaces with other witches. If you do not know how to communicate effectively and you do not know how to create trust with others and be trustworthy, you will not be magical. The beauty of magic is it doesn't need to be shouted from the rooftops. You will know it when you feel it. It will hit you. You will feel it, you will be aware of it, and you will hold it sacred. So as you establish these things in the altar, you need to feed it. You need to put offerings out. You need to add things. What do you put for offerings? I put a lot of oats. I put bread. I put root beer. Put a lot of root beer on my altar with my ancestors. Why? I'm not quite sure, but we're Pennsylvania Dutch and it makes sense. I put the things that I remember from my childhood, those little star candies. There's always star candies on my altar. The little red peppermint ones, they're always on my altar because they were always in my grandma's candy dish. What makes you think of them? That's what you leave for the altering. Do you understand? That's how you feed your altar. Let's not even mention the conversations of sacred prayer. Sit with your journal at that altar and write and commune and establish a creative flow back and forth. When you are in the presence of something, you can't help to put your soul in it. Does that make sense? I hope it does because it's really simple, but everybody tries to make it really fucking difficult. And it's frustrating. Don't overthink magic. If it feels good here, it's where you need to be. If it warms that part of you and you feel content after you've done that working, that's where you needed to be. Don't overthink it. Okay, so these are my favorite rituals, dining rituals. I love a good dumb supper. They're my favorite. I love a dumb supper. I like the ceremony of it. I like the plates. I like the food. I love to eat dessert first, so it works for me. It's all wonderful. Okay? What do you need to worry about in a ritual? Okay. Dumb suppers are to be quiet. They're not supposed to be loud and boastful. It's supposed to be a very somber situation. You're remembering a loved one that has passed. How do you remember a loved one's passed? Oh, well, you would cook a meal that they would eat with you, correct? Once a year on my grandma's birthday, I have fried green tomatoes, spaghetti, and chocolate cake. Those were the three things I associate with my grandma. And on her birthday, I put a plate across from me. I put a plate for my daughters, and we have a dinner with my grandmother to celebrate her birthday. I never forget her birthday, and it keeps her alive. These rituals are meant to keep these people with you. Their memories are only as powerful as you remembering them. Do you understand? How do you hold on to that magic if it slips your mind? Start focusing on what the magic was that you felt when you were small and you first encountered your magic. I think as witches, we get stale and old, kind of like crusty bread. Like that center of the bread is always really soft and nice. I'm sorry, you ladies that can't have gluten, you're just like, shut the hell up. So when you have this bread in the center, it's all soft and nice. And then as you get towards the edge, the oven hits it a little harder. Like life hits us a little harder, and we get crusty. And we forget that good sweet spot. If you can avoid being a crusty old witch that's miserable and mean, think about how delicious, scrumptious, and amazing your magical could be. You know, I don't understand what has happened, but I can tell you I've experienced it myself. I sometimes feel like the witch world opened my wrapper and left me to rot. I don't feel as fresh and on fire for my craft as I did. I don't feel as hopeful about the magic hitting the right time with the right people for the right reasons. And I don't want to feel like that anymore. I want to go back to when I was fresh faced, happy with my fucking little books and my PDFs and my coloring pages, and my grimoire was as sweet and new as it could be. And I was excited to do everything I did. I remember making abundance jars for the Lunar Hearth Cauldron. I remember making my first Samhain kits and my first jewel kits and sending them out and seeing people's faces as they open them. That's what your magic should feel like. And magic is best when it's shared, not when it's kept to yourself, not when you're stingy and mean. We're forgetting the service and sharing of our magic. Our ancestors shared everything because money wasn't important. Survival was important. Growth was important. Happiness was important. Our culture has become self serving, and we have become a victim of it as witches as well. If it isn't our joy, we're not interested in it. If it isn't making us money, we're not interested in it. If it isn't for our benefit, we're not interested in it. Why do we have to hide our blessings because we're afraid someone else is going to do something to them? That's sick. The paranoia, the nastiness, the shady shit, it's sick. It's not what we're supposed to be doing. We are coming to a veil and we can make a serious change, a fucking serious change. I sat at a fire with a group of women last weekend and it was freezing cold. They were wrapped up in blankets and they were having the time of their life. We had a 30-foot tall fire. It was fucking amazing. And I had on a tank top dress, no shoes, no jacket. And I have never felt more wonderful in my life than I did sitting by that fire. What does your magic do for you? What does your ancestry do for you? What does connection do for you? You need to answer those things for yourself, and you need to seek your ancestors to help you find those answers because they know the source of your magic and they are the keepers of the source of your magic. They all know where you came from. And I think some people are failing to really step into that. So when you do dining rituals, you really need to step into what do you celebrate? What do you embrace? Who are you? I don't care if you make one thing at that meal, just one thing, but make it. Use your kitchen magic and make it. Everybody can make a tomato sandwich. Everybody can toast bread. Everybody can cook some eggs. Everybody can make some bacon. Everybody can fry some potatoes. Figure it out. There is something you made, you experienced in your life that truly connected you at a deeper level when you ate it. Don't tell me you haven't. Sorry, I'm a kitchen witch and I know on people's faces when something hits them. I can see it. You want to see magic? See a 70-year-old man eat a kulachki like his grandma used to make. It immediately snaps him back to being a little boy. The smile comes on his face. He's so excited. He's warm. He's happy. It changes his whole outlook. Give me a whoopie pie and watch what happens to me. I'm like a fat kid in a candy store because that's what links me to my childhood. That's what links me to my happiness. It's what links me to my mud pies and my wands and my fucking running through the grass with no shoes on. Your ancestry should light you up like that. And if you're not making that kind of connection, you need to seek deeper into it and sink into it. Those are important things. You want to magnify your magic, you got to magnify your source light. And your ancestors can magnify your source light. So that brings us to the final ritual, which is sacred circle workings. Now, I can't do a sacred circle because I'm not in a circle. That's not how that works. That's not how any of this works. Beavis. And I say Beavis with all due respect because everybody calls us Beavis around here in Dillsburg because our last name is Beauvais and no one can say Beauvais. A sacred circle is calling all four directions and inserting yourself. as the spiritual compass. That means when you're doing veil workings, you need a sacred circle. It is not good enough to have a sacred space. There is too much going on right now to not call a sacred space. Do you understand? Open it and fucking close it if you don't want friends to stick around. Because there are enough things right now unrested to stick around for a very long time. It is busy right now. Any of you that are spiritually aware can't tell me that you're not feeling it. It is busy. My 11-year-old child is busy right now. She is seeing things she has never seen before. She's like, I don't like this. I'm like, just tell them to go away. Sealed my house twice this weekend alone. It's busy. And those of you who are going, well, when the veil opens, I'll do it. I'll do it. I got good news for you, though, all you procrastinators. You'll have till about November 17th to do it. Because that's when lunar Samhain is. We're not talking about simple Samhain like the muggles do. I'm talking about downright dirty lunar Samhain. And the veil will be open till solstice. So prepare. It's not going to get better after Samhain. You're going to have a lot of time to work on this. And when it does close, congratulations. It's time to go into the dark, into your cave, and really focus on your magic. Because what a better way to work on keeping your light lit than in total darkness? Winter is coming, and winter is going to be a source of great interpersonal work this year. Not because I say so, because the spirits say so. We have a lot of change that needs done in our communities. The world is a turbulent place. And I don't know if you all guys know that, like, we're supposed to be the peacekeepers, and we're not doing very good at keeping peace at all. In fact, a lot of us are shaking a lot of shit up for no fucking reason at all. There are purposes to be angry, and there are purposes to unite and heal. Once you piss everybody off, you got to heal them. Remember that. What do they say? Here comes the consequences of my own actions. And boy, do they suck. There's a lot going on. When you're casting circles, you need to properly create them. You need to sanctify the space. You need to call the quarters. You need to know what you're doing. And please, please, please have a plan before you do sacred rituals in this time of the year. Any other time, I'm all about you raw dogging it. I don't care. You want to raw dog it, you do it all you want. This is a time of year you really need to do a little bit of planning. You need to set your herbs aside. You need to have your candles set aside. You need to write out your ritual. You need to know where you're going. You need to know what you're looking for. You need to know what you're pursuing because those are important things. How are you going to do this? You're going to write. You're going to meditate. You're going to divine. You're going to scry. You're going to really know what you want and why you want it. Make sense? This is not the time of the year to go, I want a new house because your old one might burn to the ground. Okay? If you want a new house, you need to say how you want your new house to come about. I currently have some neighbors above me that are a big, big problem. I am carefully wording what I want to happen because I don't want anything bad to happen in the midst time. Because bad things happen when witches just rattle off what they want. Think about it. Think about what you're doing and think about how you're wording it. What rituals are good this time of year? Seeking sources and seeking answers, self discovery, truth workings, path divination, true source alignments, abundance for the coming year in your path and in your workings. These are all new starts. Don't forget to close the old shit out too. Put it to rest, bury it. This is the time of the year. I know The Muggle world wants us to observe January as our new year, but it is not January. We are done at Samhain. We kind of are a dead group of people. We believe when things die, you put them to rest and you move on. But just remember what dies returns to collective energy and will once again be reborn as something new for you. So don't despair when something comes to an end. It is not the end. It is simply the end of it in that resonation for you. It's a hard thing to grasp. Believe me, I've paid for a lot of therapy and still cannot get it through my head. But at the end of the day, we're just the snakes eating our tail. We are eternal and we will keep moving this cycle as long as we go. But in order to do that, we need to understand where we began. And that's a problem for a lot of people. They just want to carry on from where they are and not understand how they got there. Make sense? It's a lot to process. And ancestry is never easy to work with. I look at it as if we don't hold this sacred space, we don't call in these sacred people and these sacred energies and these sacred sources, are we really working with 100% of our magic? Or are we only working like with 75%? There's 25% that is not met when we don't include ancestry. Now, I know a lot of you are going to be like, but I don't know. I don't know. Then fucking work on it. I didn't put this workshop on the 20th of the month for you to go, I don't know, till almost the 20th of the next month. Did I? No. And if you notice, the PDF was free. There's no fucking charge for tonight, was it? Oh, look, Sissy's out there being a organization again, giving it away for free. You know why? Because it's fucking important. You need to know these things. And I don't care what people think or people have to say about me. They can go fuck themselves and their opinions too. I'm not going to send you into the veil without fucking preparing you. That's a mark of a bad teacher. That's a mark of a bad leader. It's a mark of a bad sister. I don't want you to get your ass chewed up by the void because believe me, it's waiting to eat quite a few people. There's a lot of people playing witch that shouldn't be playing fucking witch. I said what I said. If you caught my TikTok live this week, it wasn't real fucking nice about the witch world. I wasn't real fucking nice. And I don't make fucking apologies for it. Witches aren't mean to one another. They're jealous of one another. Witches don't care about you that are making $400,000 a year and $10,000 off their courses. They could give a shit about you. Their classes are pre-recorded. They have no gives a fucks whether you attend or not. You're going to buy their class, you're going to eat it, and you're going to like it. That's not magic. That's money alchemy. I fucking said it. It is what it is. I'm going to say the uncomfortable things from now on in, and people can sit and go, I don't care. That's not what magic is about. You can do whatever you want, and I support you in that. This is not where you belong. This is not what you want. I get that. But I'm not going to watch people unprepared walking into magical workings for big magic. You're wanting big magic, and you're lost. You don't understand. You have questions. We're going to fucking do those questions. We're going to fucking talk about those uncomfortable things. If you have questions about your ancestry, we're going to work into your ancestries and figure them out together. You know why? Because there's a lot of women in this circle, and a lot more women than me know something. Do you understand? Start asking questions and respecting the women who are responding to you. They are here to fucking help you. I am not the only fucking person in this group. Yes, I'm the only dumbass that runs classes and works her ass to the bone making PDFs. That would be me. Hello, my name is Sissy. But there are women here that know their shit and they can help you. And whether you all know it or not, you know your shit. So if a newbie comes apart, ask the question, you can help her. Oh my God, are we going to become our own ancestry? Is it time to write our own fucking legacy? Maybe if we start writing a legacy of giving a fuck, there will be more witches that give a fuck. Maybe if we start doing our work in a responsible manner, there will be more witches working in a responsible manner. And then we won't have to watch Hollywood shows like Agatha All Along to have witch community. We will be the witch community. There are good amongst us, there are bad amongst us, and there are just ones of us who don't give a fuck no more. I don't give a fuck no more. I'm going to do what the magic calls for. I'm going to do what the magic demands. I'm going to teach the class as sources tell me to teach. And if no one comes to that class, no one comes to that class. I don't care anymore. There's more important things. I have learned many lessons over the past 3 years. And one of them was to listen to the small voices that told me, don't do that, sit there, be calm, be still. You're supported, you are loved. Where did those voices come from? I don't fucking know. I'm hearing voices. Maybe I need to admit it. But I'm going to tell you right now, the more I rely on source, the more confident I get in myself. A lot of you are scared that you're not good enough. You are fucking good enough. A lot of you are scared that you're not needed. You are fucking needed. We are all fucking needed. Because as one drops out, the rest of us have to push in to fill their spot. And we're trying to fill spots that we're not qualified to fill. I don't do that. That's not my thing. That's not what I do. That might not be what another woman does, but she's still trying to do it to keep it together because we don't want our circle to be broken. I will stretch my arms as far as I can to keep this circle together. I promise you that. But I will not have someone in my circle breaking people's arms because they don't want to do their work. Do your fucking work. Map your ancestries. Look at the sacred rituals that you can do. You all can set an altar. I know you can. You all can set an altar. I have Martha Stewart your asses plenty of times to show you how to set an altar. I mean, if you look back in the videos, there's one me looking like a kindergarten teacher, and I'm showing you how to set a pretty fucking altar. Okay? But if you need me to do an ancestry altar video, I'll do one. But I ain't going to do it by myself. I'm going to ask 3 of my friends to come in, and they're going to show how they do their altars. Because you need to see there's people other than me who do things. You need to see there's people other than 1 or 2 people in the witch world that do things. We all fucking do things, and we're all important. It is important to hold the mirror up a little bit to pass the reflection around the room. That's how you light a tomb. Because I'm starting to think the witch world's looking a lot like a tomb. I'm not ready to be buried and wrapped in muslin yet, are you guys? I'm still alive. But some of us are just content to be like, oh, I'm so beautiful. And all my workings are fabulous. And I'm just perfect and prim and proper. And I'm going to judge everyone else. Go fuck yourself. Like, seriously, go fuck yourself. You want to judge other people? Go fuck yourself. I don't have time for it. I'm going to be the hot mess express that I am, the chaos witch that I am. And I'm going to move forward and do my magic with all I'm worth. And I want you fuckers right here with me, chewing along. I mean, we probably run on bread, soup, and fucking potatoes around here, but hey, I'm here for it. I'm not the one anymore. I want you to learn. That's why when I do stuff like this, it's not just because I like to make PDFs. I mean, I'm not going to lie, I do like to make a PDF, but it's not just because I like to do that. It's because you need these things that you can go to and go, okay, so how do I do this for myself? Sissy gave me these 3 points to work off of, but I know there's more. I know there's more for me. Start reading through your shadow works. Start reading through your journals. Start finding where you fell in love with your magic. Source is never far from true love. The most powerful magic you can do is love magic. And I'm not talking about making someone fall in love with you. I'm talking about holding sacred space for someone you love. So call that ancestor that holds the tightest string to you that you can't stop thinking about, that they show up every day for you. There's not a moment they pass that you don't feel them. That's where you start your ancestor connection. I'm going to tell you that right now. My entire body is filled with goosebumps right now. And I'm pretty sure if you can see spirit, she's probably standing right behind me. She's here. I can feel her because she's where my ancestry started. You want to know the most beautiful part about it? I can see her in the flesh when I sleep. Once you establish an ancestor connection, you're going to get those conversations that you miss so much. You're going to get them because they will come to you in your liminal. Whether you're crazy or not, your subconscious will generate them. There's two schools of thought on that. But I'm going to tell you right now, she doesn't tell me things I want to hear, so I don't think I'm talking to myself. If I was talking to myself, I would definitely tell me things I wanted to hear. Just saying. So we covered a lot of information tonight. This is something that no matter if you're a long-standing witch of 10 plus years, yeah, I'm going to say long-standing witch is 10 plus years because I feel like once you've done it for 10 years, you've done it for like 100. Um, it gets feeling like that after, and you get stale and you get crusty. So tonight I called you crusty bread. So now you're all old crusty bread. So peel back that. Really sit in and find where your love sits. I heard someone say something the other day and it resonated really seriously. And she wasn't even a witch, but what she said made a lot of sense. If I could do this every day for the rest of my life, I would feel like my life had purpose. If you could do the magic you're doing right now at this point for the rest of your life, would you feel like you were doing your purpose? Right now, not what you intend to do, what you're currently doing. Would you be living your whole purpose? That's between you and your source. But I'm going to tell you what, for a long time, no, I wouldn't be happy with my life. I wouldn't have been living my whole purpose. But I'm getting there. And maybe my purpose is to be like really aggressive sandpaper and piss people off and get them to move in a direction away from me to move into their magic. But I'll consider that doing my job. So, everybody that was live here tonight, thank you for coming. I am going to continue on with the Zoom after we shut this down because I know people are going to have questions. But thank you for coming to Ancestor Workshop. This is part of the Samhain Seance program, which we will continue later this week. If you have questions or concerns, please email the Lunar Hearth Cauldron at gmail.com and I'll be happy to answer them. We have a full website. The seasonal portal is coming, which will be loaded with Samhain things. And please also check out the Facebook page. You're magic because you fucking say you are. Thanks for coming.